In this module, we will discuss about the other commodity taxes to the states. Sales tax or state VAT is a major revenue source of the state. It alone contributed about 72% of the tax revenue from commodity and services. While there are other taxes like state excise duty, motor vehicle tax and passenger and good tax, entertainment tax and electricity duty, which together contribute 28% of the tax revenue from commodity and services. Commodity and services taxes contribute approximately 85% of the state's own tax revenue. In this module, we will discuss about these other commodity taxes that are assigned to the state. Constitution of India empowers the states to levy state excise duty, that is SED, under the state list. Accordingly, the states have absolute power to regulate and exercise comprehensive control over production and consumption of spirituous beverages, that is A. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption, B. Opium, Indian hemp and other narcotic drugs and narcotics but not including medicinal and toilet preparations containing alcohol or any substance of opium, Indian hemp and other narcotic drugs and narcotic. States control manufacture and distribution of excisable articles by charging prescribed fees and issuing licenses. However, under the Article 268 of the Constitution, the Government of India levies SED on medicinal and toilet preparations containing alcohol, etc. But the states collect and retain the revenue. Under the powers given by the Constitution, the State Excise Department maintains complete control over import and export, including transport of excisable articles, lays down the guidelines for the distribution of alcohol for potable and industrial purposes. To prevent leakages, some states have taken over the wholesale distribution of liquor and auctioning of vending rights to ensure that only that liquor is consumed which is routed through the institutional network. SED collects revenue from two components, that is excise duty and license fee. While the former is levied on the basis of manufacture or consumption of alcoholic drinks, license fees is generally determined through auction cum tender issued separately for country liquor and for Indian made foreign liquor called IMFL. IMFL includes whiskey, brandy, gin, rum or vodka made in India. The criteria for fixing the license fee differs from state to state. A fixed fee system is followed for the issue of licenses for retail sale of country liquor in some states. The excise duty is charged progressively based on increase in price range of IMFL. The method of fixing the rate of excise duty varies from state to state.
After starting this module, you shall be able to analyze state excise duty, its base, and how it is levied. Understand the electricity duty and entertainment tax, why these taxes are levied. Understand the difference between motor vehicles tax and passengers and goods tax, and that how these two taxes are levied on the same base. Constitution of India empowers the states to levy state excise duty, that is SED, under the state list. The states have absolute power to regulate and exercise the comprehensive control over production and consumption of spirituous beverages, that is alcoholic liquor, for human consumption, opium, Indian hemp, and other narcotic drugs. Under Article 268 of the Constitution, the Government of India levies SED on medicinal and toilet preparations, etc., containing alcohol. The states collect and retain the revenue. Let us discuss the significant contribution of state excise duty in states' revenue. As shown in the table, its yield in absolute terms was Rs 5,439 crore from the period 1991 to 92. That increased from 17,110 crore from the period 2001 to 2002. It increased more than 4 times by 2012 to 2013 to Rs 85,767 crore. The tax revenue recorded a growth rate of 12.8% with buoyancy coefficient more than unity over the period. In spite of growth in revenue, its share in states' own tax revenue has gone down from 15.2% from 1991 to 92 to 12.9% in 2012 to 2013 due to increase in revenues from state VAT. Also, the buoyancy coefficient of the tax is 0.98, which is slightly less than unity. Under the powers given by the Constitution, the State Excise Department maintains complete control over import and export, including transport, of excisable articles, lays down the guidelines for the distribution of alcohol for potable and industrial purposes. To prevent leakages, some states have taken over the wholesale distribution of liquor and auctioning of vending rights to ensure that only that liquor is consumed, which is routed through the institutional network. State excise duty collects revenue from two sources. The first is excise duty. The excise duty that is levied on the basis of manufacture or consumption of alcoholic drinks, and second is license fee, generally determined through auction cum tender, issued separately for country liquor and for Indian-made foreign liquor, that is IMFL. The criterion for fixing the license fee differs from state to state. The excise duty is charged progressively based on increase in the price range of IMFL. The method of fixing the rate of excise duty varies from state to state. IMFL includes whiskey, brandy, etc. made in India.
With a view to making state excise duty buoyant, the tax structure should be made progressive for different varieties of liquor. Since it is a demerit good, to discourage consumption, an additional excise duty may also be levied at the production point or at the point of consumption. Also, the tax should be levied on the maximum retail price, linking the same to the manufacturing cost of the product.
Under Entry 57 of List 2, Motor Vehicles Tax, that is MVT, is another tax assigned to the state. Under the Constitution, MVT is levied by all states and union territories except the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. They have two distinct powers in the Indian Constitution. First is regulation of motor vehicle tax that falls within the concurrent list, that is List 3, Entry 35. And the power is exercised by both the central and the state governments, and the second is taxation on the motor vehicles, where taxation powers and the revenue from the tax are assigned to the states. The existing tax structure shows wide variation in tax rates. Revenue from the tax at the level of all states has increased from rupees 1,837 crore from the period 1991 to 92 to rupees 6,666 crore from the period 2000 to 2001, and further to rupees 33,629 crore by 2012 to 2013. The revenue from the MVT has increased at an annual growth rate of 13.6% and exhibited a buoyancy of more than unity. The yield from this tax has been rising throughout 1993 to 94 to 2012 to 2013 in a majority of states. Motor Vehicles Tax is levied on acquisition of vehicles and includes one-off payment. The main objective of this tax is to control and regulate the vehicular traffic in the country and to raise resources for the state treasury. The levies charged under this tax are for: first, registering motor vehicles; second, obtaining driving licenses; third, transfer of ownership of motor vehicles; fourth, trade certificates issued to manufacturers, dealers, and repairers of vehicles; fifth, permit for transport vehicles; and sixth, certificate of fitness for transport. The levies include fees for registration, permit, and driving license. The fees have been raised and restructured from time to time.
Motor vehicle tax is levied by all states and union territories except the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. The existing tax structure shows wide variations in the tax rates. Chhattisgarh and Uttarakhand recorded quite a high revenue from motor vehicles tax. Among the non-special category states, Bihar has recorded the lowest growth. The tax system needs to be reformed to have uniformity in the structure of motor vehicle tax so as to check registration of vehicle from high tax states to low tax states. Some of the taxes, such as road tax levied on the users not involved in commercial activities, could fruitfully be collected as one-time tax. This would not only save administrative costs of handling the same taxpayer perpetually, but also save time and compliance costs of the taxpayers. However, keeping in view the issue of pollution emission through vehicles, the one-time tax should be limited to the first 10 years of the life of the vehicle. Also, based on the emission of the vehicle and its age, the tax should be graduated over time. Finally, motor vehicle tax should be varied according to the engine size or power of the car and on the basis of emission of the vehicle. To address fuel efficiency or environmental policy objectives, the tax should be restructured into different CO2 brands. This would result in a shift in purchase pattern towards lower CO2 vehicles.
Now, we will discuss passenger and good tax. Passenger tax is levied on the passenger fare per ticket. The levy of passenger tax varies from state to state. Some of the states such as Bihar, Delhi, Karnataka, Orissa, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal do not levy this tax. Goods tax is levied on goods sent by road or by inland waterways. Goods tax is also levied through different methods. In some states, it is levied as a percentage of the freight charged, and in some states, surcharge is levied in addition to this tax. These taxes fall on the same base and are paid ultimately by the same group of people. Some of the states levy both these taxes, while others have merged the two and levy a single tax. As shown in the table, the revenue from the tax has increased from rupees 1,136 crore from the period 1991 to 92 to rupees 2,075 crore from the period 2000 to 2001 and further to rupees 16,471 crore from the period 2012 to 2013. Accordingly, the tax has recorded a growth rate of 13.27%.
The levy of passenger tax varies from state to state. Some of the states like Haryana and Himachal Pradesh levy this tax on actual fare and freight. Some states levy a composite passenger tax PF based on the criteria of seating capacity, occupancy ratio, etc. In other states, the tax is collected as a percent of the purchase price of the vehicle. Some of the states such as Bihar, Delhi, Karnataka, Odisha, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal do not levy this tax. Goods tax is also levied through different methods. In some states, it is levied as a percent of the freight charge. Some states have introduced a special road tax in lieu of passengers and goods tax. In some states, surcharge is levied in addition to this tax. Both the motor vehicle tax and passengers and goods tax are similar in nature. These taxes fall on the same base and are paid ultimately by the same group of people. Some of the states levy both these taxes while the others have merged the two and levy a single tax. The existing system of passengers and goods tax can raise more resources if tax base is rationalized and the procedures are simplified.
Electricity duty is a tax on the consumption of energy. It is one of the service taxes specifically allotted to the states. The rate of tax varies depending on the user of electricity, domestic, commercial, and agricultural user. For each user, there are variations in tax rates among states. The revenue from this tax was Rs 1,596 crore from 1991 to 92. This increased to Rs 4,692 crore from 2001 to 2002, and further to Rs 20,218 crore from 2012 to 2013, recording a growth rate of 12.5% during 1991 to 92 to 2012 to 2013. Accordingly, its buoyancy coefficient was 0.96 during the period. This duty is not levied in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura. Exemptions from electricity duty are provided if electricity is sold for consumption to the central government, for construction, maintenance, or operation of railways. In most of the states, energy consumed for agricultural purposes, for cultivation operations, pumping of water, for irrigation, etc., are exempted. Also, duty is not levied in special economic zones for some specified period. Entertainment tax is another tax on services assigned to the states under the Constitution. It is a tax levied on the price charged for admission to any place of entertainment or amusement, which includes cinemas, theatrical performances, exhibitions, drama, music, etc. Its contribution to the state's exchequer in 1991 to 92 was Rs 368 crore, which went up to Rs 1,147 crore from the period 2000 to 2001, and to Rs 1,704 crore in 2012 to 2013, with some fluctuations. The tax has recorded a growth rate of 5.75% per annum, with the buoyancy of 0.46 during the period 1991 to 92 to 2012 to 2013. The share of entertainment tax in states' own tax revenue has thus declined in recent years. It has come down to 0.3% in the period 2012 to 2013 from 1.03% in 1991 to 92. With the introduction of goods and service tax, that is GST, this tax would be subsumed in the GST except for those states that have already assigned this tax to the local bodies.
While most states use the yield from the tax for state budget, some states, for example Kerala and Uttar Pradesh, have assigned this tax to the local bodies, which collect and use the tax revenue to fulfill their duties. With the introduction of goods and service tax, this tax would be subsumed in the GST, excepting for those states that have already assigned this tax to the local bodies. In some of the states, the entertainment tax is having a slab rate system with a progressive rate structure, while in other states it is levied on proportional basis. In the case of DTH service provider, tax rate is 10% of the monthly subscription charges per subscriber.
Some exemptions have been given in the tax structure. In general, tax is not levied on religious and charitable activities, or those provided or sponsored by non-profit institutions, or organized in aid of the promotion of health, agriculture, industry, and scientific development. In addition, there are certain state-specific exemptions. In some states, the regional language films and local events like drama, Nautanki, Kavi Sammelan, etc. are exempted from the tax.
So far, we have reviewed the composition and growth of commodity and services taxes of states excluding state VAT. The analysis includes state excise duty, motor vehicle tax, passengers and goods tax, electricity tax and entertainment tax. SED, a tax on production of spirituous beverages, contribute approximately 13% of states' own tax revenue at all state level. The share of remaining such as MVT, PNGT, electricity duty and entertainment tax is around 11%. The structure of all these taxes are characterized by variations among the states. Reforms in the structure of these taxes would have significant repercussions for the state finances. These taxes would be only source of mobilizing additional resources for the states once GST is introduced. Besides the state VAT, other important commodity taxes are state excise duty, motor vehicle tax, passengers and goods tax, electricity duty and entertainment tax. State excise duty, motor vehicles tax and passengers and goods tax contribute around 23% of the state's own tax revenue. Contribution of state excise duty is next to state VAT. It contributes approximately 12% to 15% of state's own tax revenue. State excise duty is levied on production and consumption of spirituous beverages, that is A. alcoholic liquor for human consumption, B. opium, Indian hemp and other narcotic drugs and narcotics, but not including medicinal and toilet preparations containing alcohol or any similar substance. The rate structure of SED indicates that there is a great divergence in rates amongst the states. Rates are based on many factors such as manufacturing cost, strength of bulk litter, etc. The existing system of SED is characterized with weaknesses such as narrow base and emphasis on license fee, which is geared to allotment through auction or tender system. Motor vehicle tax is levied on acquisition of vehicles, and in many states it is charged as one-time payment at the time of registration. The existing tax structure shows wide variations in tax rates and basis for computation of tax. Passengers and goods tax is levied on passengers and goods carried by road or by inland waterways. Motor vehicles tax and passengers and goods tax are similar in nature. These taxes fall on the same base and are paid ultimately by the same group of people. Electricity duty is a tax on the consumption of energy. It is one of the service tax specifically allotted to the states. Along with the electricity rates for consuming electricity, the consumer pay electricity duty. Entertainment tax is another service tax assigned to the states and under the Constitution. It is a fixed tax levied on the price charged for admission to any place of entertainment or amusement. In some of the states, the entertainment tax is having a slab system with a progressive rate structure, while in other states, it is levied on proportional basis. Exemptions are provided to entertainment meant for philanthropic, religious and charitable purposes, or those provided or sponsored by non-profit institutions or organized in aid of the promotion of health, agriculture, industry and scientific development.